Welcome to another unboxing video where I try old family recipes. Today's recipe is butterscotch. I picked this recipe because it's pretty simple. All you need is 2 cups of sugar, 2 tablespoons of water, and a piece of butter the size of an egg. I don't know what that means, but I've got eggs in my fridge, so I'll just measure that way. I picked this recipe not only because it's super easy and I have all the ingredients, but I just really love butterscotch. I know I'm like an old woman for saying that, but I adore butterscotch. When they threw it out like candy at parades, I would just scoop it up, and then when I had a job, I was like, I'm gonna buy myself some butterscotch, and I just buy like bags of the stuff and eat it within a day. So if I can make my own butterscotch, I'll save a bunch of money and just have butterscotch on hand. So let's get started. Alright, so I've migrated over to the stove, and I think I have everything because I have my sugar over here. I've got some water ready right here that's coming to room temperature, and my butter, which I softened in the microwave just a little bit so it would be easier to boil and quicker to boil. I've got my measuring cups. I have an egg for reference for that butter, and then a spoon. Perfect, so let's get going. Alright, so the first thing we need, according to the recipe, is 2 cups of sugar. Pretty simple stuff. I know I'm gonna get hate for how I measure out my sugar. It's day one, okay? I actually used to do a lot of baking when I was still at home. I did things like cakes and cookies. There was one time I tried like pineapple upside down cakes in muffin tins. And you're probably saying, well, why don't you make those? You've already made those. I'm just trying to be like, I have baked before. This is the first time I've done it in my own apartment without my mom standing right there to help me if anything goes wrong. So there's 1 cup. I'm pretty sure my grandma Marguerite, whose recipes box these are, didn't really measure as much as I did. But there's 2 cups. It's okay if I have a little more because I love sugar. That's not a problem. Alright, so we're done with the sugar and we're done with the cup, so we'll put this over here. Our next ingredient is 2 tablespoons of water. Got my tablespoon. Got some water so I didn't have to walk over to the sink. 2 tablespoons, right? Yeah. Always double check before you commit. There's 1. 2. Alright. I'm going to dump the rest of this out since I don't need it anymore. Alright. So these 2 more water. This one was not. Oh, I'm going to plug my computer in. Hold on 1 second. On me. Please don't die on me. I'm not going to make this again. Alright, so we've got our sugar, our water. Now we need a piece of butter the size of an egg. So I have my unsalted butter here. I'm going to have to figure out the camera angles. It's my first episode, guys. Can you tell? Alright, so I've got an egg here for scale. Oh, that is most of the butter I have. I have more in the fridge, but I thought it would be less. Alright, so let me just make a mark-ish where that'll go. So I can put my egg back. My egg now has butter on it. That's okay. When I make omelets later or hard-boiled eggs or something, it'll be like, oh, that was a nice surprise. Put my eggs away. You got to see what's in my fridge there. Nothing special, I guarantee it. If you think, oh, well, she bakes, she must cook. No, I'm not. I'm a baker, not a cook. I know how to make bread. I know how to make cookies. I made cakes. I made quick breads, but I don't cook. My mom was like, you should probably use some ground beef so you can. So, I'll get back to that tangent in a moment. Boil without stirring until it hardens on a spoon. Cool on buttered plates. That's all I get. I probably showed you the recipe earlier, but here it is again, just so you can see. Just to make this a little easier, I'm gonna chop this butter up just a little bit, because it is also almost 10 o'clock at night, and I don't know how my neighbors are gonna feel about me if I am up really late recording this. Alright, that should be fine. Yeah, so my mom was like, oh, you should get some ground beef. It's super easy to cook, and then you just heat it up and add it to whatever, right? I was like, okay, what do I do with it? She's like, tacos, spaghetti. I was like, oh, okay. I made my ground beef. I cooked like a pound of it, and didn't really do anything with it ever again. So that's my cooking skills, but I can bake, I assure you. Let's take the paper recipe off. one thing I am going to prep right now, just to make sure that we don't forget or it's too late. It says to cool on buttered plates. So I've got 2 of my plain glass plates here. I'm just going to take the rest of my butter and go ahead and butter them up. And sorry about that, put my knife in the sink. Because I'm assuming this is, once it gets going, this is not going to take long. Ooh, that is some not room temperature butter. That's okay. This is the second time I have baked something without thinking about having the butter come to room temperature. The first time it was cookies. So I was making cookies with some of my friends. Don't worry, we were socially distanced. They were across the room in a different room while I was in the kitchen, kind of like yelling at them. We all wore masks, don't worry. I was making cookies and I totally forgot to get the butter out. So it was just kind of, it was a little clumpy. We ate the cookies, they were fine, but it was like, oh yeah. Well, there's another clump of butter. Alright, so I've buttered up my plates. I've got all my ingredients in here. Let me put this off to the side. Wash my hands. Cool. Sorry about that. My friend texted me and that just stopped the recording. So, pro tip, turn your Mac on Do Not Disturb when you're trying to make a cooking video. Alright, so I moved the plates off to the side. I moved the ingredients and anything else we didn't need. And this is ready to go. So, as the instructions say, we're just going to boil it without stirring until it hardens on a spoon. That's all she wrote. That's all Grandma Marguerite wrote. I'm going to do some combining here just to make sure it's all good. Now, I have also made sugar glass before, so I know it is kind of like what it should theoretically look like. It'll look kind of like glass. So I'm pretty confident about this one. I'm also expecting it to turn out really good because it's just sugar and butter, and I love sugar, and who doesn't like butter? So now that this is a little more incorporated, we're just gonna turn the stove on. Yeah, the stove, the oven, the stove. I swear, this video makes it seem like I've never cooked or baked or done anything ever before, but I swear I have. So this next step, according to Grandma Marguerite's recipe, is to just boil without stirring until it hardens on a spoon. So, we're going to do a bit of a time lapse where I'm just around. I'll probably do a couple stirs just to make sure everything's melting. I'll be around, and then I'll check back in with you guys when it gets exciting. So, here we go! The anxiety. Because if this burns, I've just burned an egg full of butter, water, and some sugar. I'm like turning that kind of deep golden caramely color that you would expect from butterscotch, but it still is not like liquidy. And it probably, again, it's just gonna do the same thing where it's just like stuck on the spoon and it's not really like crystal. Thankfully this is super easy, so if I mess up, maybe I'll try again. It's not too late. I don't have to get up too early tomorrow. I think, ooh, I've washed my hands. This is my own butterscotch. Ooh. Still very hot. I'm an idiot, can't you tell? I should say I'm not a professional. Also, I'm going to take this off from the heat because I tasted it. It just tasted like burnt sugar, so we may have gone too far. Oh, we definitely went too far. That's very, very brown. So here's one of my plates. I thought it was going to fall off. One of my plates of butterscotch. So I'm going to grab a knife, I think, and try and get some of this. You know what it tastes like. So I'm expecting it to taste like sugar, like probably burnt sugar, and hopefully a little bit of butter because there's an egg amount of butter in here plus whatever is on the plate. So, ooh, let's. I think I was supposed to butter this more, maybe, so it would have slid off easier. Oh, there we go. Here's a piece. Tiny little piece. Let me try and get bigger piece to see if it's different, because I was just like a little edge piece. Let's try and get some of this like hard stuff in the middle. So update, this isn't going too well, and it's getting kind of late. It's past 11 o'clock, so I'm just gonna lick it close enough. Yeah, I just burnt the sugar. Sorry, Grandma Marguerite, I just burnt your sugar. Okay, so what we learned today is that this probably would work because it's just boiling sugar. That's no big deal. And in fact, I'm probably gonna try this again right now just because it's super easy. The longest part is letting it cool. And now that I know I can't wait too long, in fact, I should probably not wait at all. Like, I should just let it boil until everything's dissolved. Stir it up. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I burnt the sugar because I stirred it a couple times. Make sure it's boiling, make sure it's all incorporated, and then just pour it out immediately. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set this and that plate aside so I can clean them up in a little bit and apply so much butter to these so it'll just hopefully slip right off, because these are not my not nice plates. Next plates we have are a little nicer, and I'd rather not ruin them. All right, so I'm going to set up the stove real quick and be back when, I think you don't need to see the process again. You know what it is. So I'll be back when it's complete, and then I can do another taste test. See you in a bit. It's not completely cool yet, but it's cool enough. Again, I'm an impatient person when it comes to certain things. Baking is one of them. So this is what it looks like. This is the smaller batch that I made. As you can see, it's still like, it's not all one color, and there's definitely like, was it this? It was the other one that had like clumps of butter in it. So definitely maybe a little bit longer than I had it, but not as long as the other batch. So I also did things a little differently. Before it cooled entirely, I broke it apart, so now I have little chunks of it. And again, still a little warm, so it might be kind of grainy, that's the word I'm looking for. But I have a drink off camera, and I'm gonna try it. Let's maybe have a piece I can actually eat. Let me check something. Okay, so 3 things. Tastes like sugar. It's not cooked all the way, and more butter. Definitely more butter. So definitely with this recipe, it's gonna take a lot of trial and error for me to figure out exactly how long I'm supposed to bake it, cook it, boil it. I'm sure I could look it up online, but I wanted to see if I could do it intuitively. Obviously not. That being said, it's very, very grainy because, again, I didn't cook it long enough, but it's sugar, so it's not bad. I might as well just taking a spoonful of sugar and eating it, though, which I used to do as a kid. It does taste a little bit, don't you go to sleep on me, does taste a little bit like butterscotch, but when I went and checked was, the recipe says piece of butter the size of an egg, and it occurred to me that I have medium-sized eggs simply because they were the cheapest eggs I could find. So next time I will add more butter and then write down how much I added and then go from there. I think so. That was weird. But we're back. So as I was saying, it tastes like butterscotch, but it tastes as if someone was like diluting butterscotch. Like in my mouth, I'm like, oh yeah, that's butterscotch. But when I'm eating it, I'm like, that's just sugar. So definitely add more butter, because a medium-sized egg amount of butter is not enough. I can tell you that right now. So overall, I'd say why this is not like a complete success. I'm still eating it. That means something. Even though this wasn't a complete success, I think it's pretty good. All the problems are on me for not boiling it long enough. Obviously, that's number one. Well, like too much, and then not enough, and then not having enough butter, because butter the size of an egg is not not super helpful Grandma Marguerite. So, I definitely say this is a good recipe. I'm going to keep this one. I probably won't be making it anytime again soon because I have this whole bowl and plate to get through. So this is just like a late night study, and I need some energy. Get some of the butterscotch from the fridge. It's just pure sugar and butter with, 2 tablespoons of water. So I'll definitely keep this recipe. It has potential, and it's my fault for not understanding the measurement system and then also forgetting how to make sugar. So that's all I have for this episode. This was really fun. Next time I think we're gonna try something a little more complicated. Probably like cookies or bread. I will probably have to get different baking utensils. But right now, we're trying to keep this as low tech as possible because student life. So, if you guys have any suggestions on what you want to see, there are tons of recipes in here. As you can tell, these are all recipes, and these are all recipes. Right, I'll drop the box. So if you want anything specific, like a dessert or a salad or a sandwich, like there's plenty of different recipes. You can suggest a genre, a style, a type of food, and I'll see what I can make happen. Let's just pull a random recipe out. What did Grandma Marguerite have under vegetables? I'm not gonna make this one, but creamed celery with almonds and baby carrots. That's at the bottom of the list if I ever do that. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions or recipes you think would be interesting, like I have breads, salads, desserts, tons of desserts, lots of different meats, sauces, like almost any kind of food you can think of, I have a recipe for. I have multiple recipes for. So if you have something specific you want to see me try, let me know down in the comments below. If you like the video, like it, of course, subscribe, all those YouTuber things. Really, just thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back with another unboxing video in just a moment. Just a moment. I don't know how long these are going to take. I'm a college student. I'll be back with another unboxing video when I can. I just spent 4 hours of my life making sugar. Gotta have some of my diet cola beverage. Oh, such a good song. So, I don't know where I got this recipe. That's my bad. I think this was under vegetables. It's a salad though. I guess creamed celery is not a salad. What still gets me is the fact that it's just straight up says butter the size of an egg. Not even like a large egg or a small egg, just the size of an egg. You know what that is. And like a lot of recipes are like this. I've gone through them and it's just ingredient lists with like minimal instruction. I really feel I started with this one because I was like, oh, it's just making sugar. I've done that before. I've made sugar glass. I've made candies before. I watched my mom do it. This will be easy, it's just intuition. It's apparently not. I got halfway there. That being said, again, this recipe has potential. Now that I know how far not to go, I'm putting it at the sink with all the burnt sugar in it. And how I don't really know the extremes of too little and too much. I think this honestly would just take so much trial and error. And I definitely probably have the recipe because it makes a lot. And I don't have a lot of friends to share this with. And I'm not going to because COVID is still a thing. And this is not individually packaged. That being said, this is really fun. Spent 4 hours of my life making sugar. That's what this episode was. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you sometime. Bye.